What's a memory from your childhood you thought was innocent, but later came back to haunt you? When I was 8, I found a small brass key hidden beneath the loose floorboard in my grandparents' house in Dijon. It was the kind of discovery that feels like magic when you're a child, a secret only you know. The key was cold, heavy, and perfectly ordinary, yet to me, it shimmered with mystery. I slipped it into my pocket, convinced it belonged to some forgotten treasure chest waiting to be opened. My grandparents' house was a maze of narrow corridors and shuttered rooms. Every summer, my parents left me there for a few weeks while they worked in Paris. The house always smelled faintly of lavender and dust, the kind of scent that settles into the walls. My grandmother filled the days with routines: breakfast at 8, reading in the garden, dinner at 6, and my grandfather spent most of his time in the attic, where I wasn't allowed. The attic door was locked, of course. That's where my imagination first led the key. I remember waiting until everyone was asleep before tiptoeing upstairs, heart pounding with childish excitement. The lock turned easily. The door creaked open, and the scent that came out wasn't dust or lavender, it was something older, colder. Inside, the room was filled with old furniture covered in white sheets, stacks of yellowed newspapers, and paintings turned toward the wall. I didn't stay long. I just looked around, touched a few objects, and went back to bed feeling proud of my small rebellion. I forgot about it, or thought I did. Years later, when my grandfather passed away, I returned to that same house as an adult. It looked smaller, lonelier, as if time had shrunk it. During the funeral preparations, my mother and I went through his belongings in the attic. The lock had been replaced, but the air still carried that same faint chill. In a corner, half buried under a cloth, I found an old trunk. It was already open. Inside were photographs, dozens of them black and white portraits, some cut in half, others burned around the edges. Beneath them lay notebooks written in my grandfather's careful handwriting, full of names, dates, and places. They weren't the kind of memories you frame or share. That night, I couldn't sleep. The images from those pages blurred with the memory of my childhood adventure. The lock I had opened, the door I had crossed, it hadn't been innocent curiosity. It had been trespass, one that revealed a truth I was never meant to touch. The next morning, before we left, I went upstairs one last time. The key was long gone, but I could still see the faint scratches where it had turned all those years ago. The house felt different, not haunted by ghosts, but by silence. A silence that carries the weight of things you wish had stayed hidden. Some doors, I realized too late, are locked not to keep you out, but to protect you from what waits behind them.